Good morning, gang. Good afternoon. It's actually 8 p.m. for me, and it is July 11th. We took a little sabbatical. We took a little break. We have a lot of things that have been going on. Just got back from a little 4th of July trip. We went down to Lake Travis and we booked a big pontoon boat. Shout out to my buddy Scanny. And we had a blast. My wife and I went up there. Man, we tried a Michelin star food truck. It was like KC barbecue. We tried like a Detroit pizza place. It was like Via 313. Yeah, we tried a lot of food. We went on a little food tour and we ripped an escape room. We ripped an escape room. And for those of you who don't know what an escape room is, it is a room that you got to escape from. Sorry for mansplaining there. Those are a blast. It was a Batman themed one. We did it with some buddies. My wife and I did a 6-person escape room by ourselves. And we had such a good time because we just aced it. We brought our buddies whenever we were super hungover from the 4th of July. And then that one was a little bit more grueling. It was a little bit more difficult to get in the door of the escape room there. Luckily, there was Modelo's. I was the only one that drank them. They poured me a glass. They didn't have to drink them out of the cans. They even had their own deals. So shout out to Escapology. What a blast that was. And honestly, it was really cool to be on Lake Travis. We went up to Austin. We're on Lake Travis for the 4th. And Mattress Mac puts on this big show, a massive show every year of fireworks. He likes to help out the culture of Texas, and he does this big donation, and you have these badass fireworks shows, and that of which we didn't get to see any. My 4th of July got a little bit crazy. I had my accoutrement of American clothing. I was in my American flag Speedo, and that thing's awesome. You know, it's good to let people know what kind of package you're dealing with sometimes if you got something to flaunt. That was fun. I ripped that out, had an American flag cape. I looked like a sexy Homelander. You know, mind you, I am 260. I'm a beefy boy, so I got all the curves in the right places. I was hammered. I was ripping through beer after beer. I was rolling around in my American flag Speedo, my American flag sunglasses, my American flag cape. I even had an American flag bandana, and we're going down these slides on the top of the pontoon. They're not legal. Our boat driver pulled me aside. He's like, "Hey, man, just so you know, we don't have insurance. The game warden sees this. They'll be like, hey, we can't have this boat on. They'll tow us off. So we're going to go to this cove. You can go hang out, do whatever. But we got to avoid the fuzz." And whenever I'm drinking that much and I'm dressed in such little clothing, avoiding the fuzz does not sound like a bad idea. But we're going down these slides, and everyone's like, America, America, America. And they added another syllable in there is America, America, whenever they saw me with my hog out. And, you know, it kind of just brought something out of me. Like, I'm not scared of the water. You know, lake water's not gross. Went down it. Boom. No problem. Lost my headband. Went down it again. Boom. Surprised I could squeeze through. My big old thighs didn't let me. The next time I decided to jump in the water, I didn't even do anything crazy. Kind of just walked off the boat. I sank like a rock to the bottom. And I don't know if you know this. There's something called the diving barotrauma. Now, diving barotrauma is where you sink through a massive amount of water at a rapid pace and your eardrum busts. It tears. And that's not good. I know it's not good because that's what happened to me. My eardrum just completely ripped. I was cooked. We're out in the middle of the lake and we can't let it go back because our route back is right in front of the game wardens. So I go over to Jonathan, who, shout out him. I mean, good guy, great captain. You know, he's going through a lot. You know, we learned a lot about him, handing him beers. He's going through a lot right now. Has a divorce going on. You know, it's crazy what some cigs on a no smoking deck can bring out with somebody. But he was telling us this, and we go up to John like, John, hey, bro, I got a little bit of a problem. I got to go to urgent care pronto. I can't hear out my left ear. That of which I still really can't. You know, I got the headphones on, kind of cooked. I'm hoping that comes back. But we'll continue the story. He totes us back, and he docks at the dock. And it's me, my wife, and like 8 others of our friends. And here's the problem. They had game wardens stationed right outside our marina. So after me and my wife get off the boat and start looking at places that are open, mind you, it's a shocking amount of places closed on the 4th of July that are urgent cares / emergency rooms. You would think that with all the mishaps we all know that happens during firework displays and rednecks going hard that they would have more urgent cares open, but they don't. That's not readily available, at least not in Travis County. I was calling, closed, closed, closed. I was trying to find somewhere. The only place that was open had like a copay or like a self-pay minimum start at like $800. And I was like, what the heck and heck, bro? We find one urgent care that's open. And me and my wife head there. Meanwhile, boom, we're going to flash over to the group that was behind us. They had to stay at the marina docked because they would have gotten absolutely screwed. They would have gotten kerfuffled and the game warden would have locked them down. So they had to watch the fireworks show docked from the marina for the remainder of the night. And I lost my cape, my headband, my sunglasses. I never got them back. I go to the urgent care. I tell the people, oh, there's a lady named Jackie. I call in. They're like, hey, my name's Jackie. How can I help you? I'm like, Jackie, great to hear your voice. Sorry if I'm yelling at you. I can't really hear right now. I'd like to come see you, Jackie, but I don't want to go broke to do so. Can you tell me what your copay is? She's like, hey, it's $200. I was like, let's freaking go, Jackie. I'm on the way. We pull up, we go in. I'm the only person in there. We go into the back room. I must have gotten a luxury suite or something. And by that, I mean, I got the handicap room because it was so big and the door was way bigger than the other ones. Now, I'm a little gimpy when I'm drunk, but maybe they thought I was, special. Or maybe I just got treated special. Either way, I'm glad I got the big room. My wife got to come back there with me. Doc comes in. His name's Dr. Reed. I'm like, what's up, Dr. Reed? It's great to see you. He's like, what can I do for you? I'm like, Dr. Reed, I can't really hear you. He's like, oh, walk me through what happened. I was like, Dr. Reed, have you ever heard of diving barotrauma? He's like, I absolutely have. I was like, Dr. Reed, I need you to prescribe me eardrop antibiotics because I had a bunch of lake water go through a hole that ruptured in my eardrum. He's like, I'll do that for you. He cut me a prescription, gave me $100 off because I diagnosed myself. He looked at my ear. He's like, yep, you got a hole in it. Not much you can do. He asked me, do you have an ENT, which is an ear, nose, and throat doctor? And I was like, I do, but he died. He's like, oh boy. I was like, I know. So he gave me a referral to another ENT that was local. I told him, you know what? Thank you. I tell him I wasn't from there. I'm from Houston. And that $100 off really went a long way, to me. That $100 was the Chinese food that we ordered that night. Anyways, I just threw a lot at you. And I think it's probably weird that I call people and ask what it is to pay out of pocket, but I have this weird phobia of medical debt. For those of you that are listening that are not in the United States, we have this glorious system where we let people charge whatever the fuck they want for medical stuff. And that's kind of sucky. Dude, I don't know what it's going to cost. They don't even know what it's going to cost. You ask a nurse how much something is, you don't get an answer, And you'll look through on a medical bill afterwards if you're billing to insurance, and ibuprofen, that of which you can get 80 capsules for like $3 at a convenience store, are $80 a pill. And it's kind of ridiculous. I no one told me it wasn't cool to be a Republican until I got into college. Like the entire time growing up, I was like, can you believe these guys? So like it's circa 2008. I'm like, can you believe these pussies are trying to make me have health care? They want me to be able to afford to live? Dude, that's kind of sus. Why would they do that? Freaking dorks trying to take my money. Then you actually need medical assistance and like, hey, that's awesome. That'll be 70 grand. F me. Your insurance negotiates down and they only pay like 6 grand for a 70 grand procedure. And your deductible is probably 5 grand. So what could have been solved for $30, you're now out of pocket 5 grand, that of which it doesn't really go on your credit history, but having that lingering is not good. I think in good moral ethics, you don't want to have all these debts just outstanding. So that's the situation. We paid out of pocket. Thank you, Dr. Reed. I've been shopping a lot for children's books. We're about to have a daughter. And I've been trying to find a bunch of children's books that are, affordable, but most of them are like $25. So we found the secret sauce. We started going to Goodwill, and we've been getting all kinds of Goodwill books. We got Off-Brand Cat in the Hat. It's like cat with a hat on. We got like Noah and his Ark. It's kind of strange. I didn't realize how many of these things were trademarked, but they're going back to being printed at like 1980, $2 a pop, and now we got a whole slew of them. We probably spent $60. You got a whole library, and that's been really cool. I'm pretty fired up about it. if my daughter, if you ever get a chance to listen to this, I want you to know you're so loved. And one of the big things for me that I'm realizing is interacting with others is going to completely change for me. I am going through a realization that I cope with a lot of the things in my life by being overtly in people's face and not being sympathetic, trying to make humor out of anything, kind of being a little bit of a punk. And honestly, I've been trying to adjust out of that and be wary of it. And I would wish for that you get to experience the best version of me every day of your life. And I hope that you see that your dad loves you so much and really cares for you. And I hope that my actions speak to that. And I hope you're treated better and better every day. And the only person that ever treats you better is your spouse. Yeah. And I think that's a very powerful connection you'll have, but nothing's ever going to get between me and you, girl. You're so loved. And you're not even here yet. This is November. My wife's doing November, everybody else. And what a time to self reflect. And you get 9 months to become the man you're meant to be. And it's very intimidating. And honestly, I'm kind of rolling the dice in a lot of different places. I have one thing that I'm pushing, which is my Capital Heights funding company. And that's been a real aggressive headache to tackle. Running a company is, I don't know what I'm doing. Doing it while you're working a 9 to 5 is pretty difficult. And while you're trying to repair your house is pretty difficult. And you're trying to take care of a pregnant wife that just loves pickles at any time of the night. I got like 30 different types of pickles. All these things add up. And it's been so eye-opening to be like, there are people out here that function perfectly and make the right calls immediately and are not tired ever. I am somebody that wants to lay down and take a nap 3 or 4 times a day because I'm wore out from whatever I just accomplished and the tasks that I had on hand previously. And it's a very difficult situation to face the man in the mirror and be like, hey, dude, you're not doing things perfectly. But I'm trying to capitalize and make these things come to fruition because I don't want my wife to work. But then out of nowhere, my wife gets offered, hey, we really want you to apply for this bigwig job at your a bigwig opening at this job that you have. You could be the next King Macho. We'll double your pay. We'll maybe across the state. And to lead my wife and be like, hey, we got to turn this down because I think that we can do something really precious here is just it. It's driving me crazy. I haven't even had time to get on here. I get on, I try to play something on my computer, play some games with the homies, and then I end up just not even just leaving it on. My electric bill is going to be crazy because I just had all these things on and I go downstairs. So I find something else to do. But dude, this doesn't even feel like a podcast right now. I just feel like I'm ranting, but this is pretty exciting. We got a lot going on, dude. We got a lot going on. Conor McGregor's fighting today, I think. That's been a big development. I wonder if he's going to do good. I'm pretty sure he did TRT. I'm pretty sure there was like a window of time after his last fight that he was allowed to not be tested. And it looked like that guy got geared out of his mind and just absolutely went swolger, got some tests straight to the veins and rocked and rolled with it. He looks like an animal, and I'm pretty sure he's pretty old. So the fact that that guy's fighting, I'm pretty sure everyone has him as an underdog. But the fact that he's stepping in a ring is a testament to just modern medicine because good night, dude. The gear that guy must have consumed, ridiculous, dude. Ridiculous. That's wild. And I'm excited for it. USA got knocked out of the World Cup. I do so believe right now, World Cup is still pretty prevalent. I didn't know anything about soccer, but I can tell you it's been so fun seeing all the videos of all these people coming over from Europe and being like, dude, Texas people rock. And maybe that's just a confirmation bias within my algorithm, but I do think we rock. And Europe people, we love you. All this hatred that's being bred, baloney. Baloney. It's hogwash. All right. We like you. We love you. Come to America. You're welcome. You're welcome to come here. We want you to come here. Being a tourist here is awesome. We got good food. We got good music. Our cars are fast. Our women are pretty. Like our guys are strong. We'll teach you how to lift 7,000 pounds because we don't use kilograms. You can convert it on your own time. And then we'll teach you how to two-step. You get a good brisket. Have a Modelo with salt and lime because a lot of people don't dress their stuff everywhere. If you've had a beer and you haven't had it with salt and lime, I don't know what to tell you, dude. You're kind of cooking yourself. But yeah, it's been kind of kind of a wild last 2 months. I think I've sold a lot in my day-to-day job, which has been really cool. I think we made a lot of progress on what not to do in my personal company. I think my wife is healthy, with the baby. That's all I really priority-wise, all I really care about. My mom's doing well. My old man's doing good too. We're getting to chat with my wife's parents and family a lot more. We're trying to get grounded. And one of the things I'm really trying to do, even though I've kind of had a couple slip ups since I've just been ranting for a little bit, but I've been really trying to quit cursing because, dog, this cursing is no bueno, compadre. Con mis amigos, we curse. And yo no gusta. Yo no gusta nada. I don't like it. I don't want to be that way. I'm going to start doing a swear jar. That's what I think I'll do, team. I need to make a swear jar for the gang, for the people that listen to this. Every time you hear me swear, I got to donate $1 to somebody. It might be myself because I don't like to give away money, but we'll figure that part out when we cross that bridge. We'll cross that bridge when we burn it. We'll burn that bridge when we get to it. I don't know. A couple other exciting things. My buddy Kyle. I grew up with these guys. I grew up with Cody and Kyle, and these two gentlemen have started a sports talk show YouTube channel, which I think you should check out. It's called The Rational Colts Fan, even though by definition that is an oxymoron. These guys know more about ball than just about anybody I've ever met. And they're also one of those people that could just yell out into the ether on Twitter, on X, and they've mastered and perfected the art of rage baiting. Now, mind you, I do recall hearing a statistic that I can't be backed up, but I'm pretty sure a vast majority of all the traffic on the internet is bots. Shout out bots listening to this. You're loved. But they get some pretty gnarly responses on what they toss out there, which is pretty unique. I admire it. I think that's pretty sick. But you should check out the Rational Colts Fan. You should say what's up. You should go see if they can spit some ball that you care about, because these guys are working hard. It's a beautiful passion project that they're doing, and I think it's important to call those things out. Speaking of beautiful passion projects, my wife is really into crystals, big time. So she's into all these different, like selenite, smoky quartz, different types of agate. Rose quartz is one of them. I don't know all the names. To me, I think they're just really cool gems, but I call them rocks. But she has been super into them forever. We just went to Home Goods because Home Goods, if you don't know, had crystals for sale. I didn't know that until my credit card had to come out. I was thinking there's got to be a way to source these. And if she's going to stay at home and be a little stay at home mama jamma, stay at home mama, I bet you we could get some cardboard boxes, some bubble wrap, and a little notepad, and we could sell these to people. We could order in bulk from like a supplier in like South Dakota or something. We could sell for a markup. Crazy idea. We could put them in the cardboard boxes. We could wrap them in bubble wrap. We could write a handwritten note. Thanks for ordering from us. We really appreciate you. And we could ship them out to people that like them too. And that could be what she does in her off time as a stay-at-home mom. That's a pretty good idea. That's a pretty smart idea, if I do say so myself. I think that rocks, pun intended. Any hoozle, I got a lot to do. I got to continue on with this like whole development journey. This has basically just become my journal. I got to become a better person. I would encourage everyone to. And one of the things that's been jumping out to me through a episode of the Sean Ryan show with, I believe his name's Johnny Clarkson, who is an author of Guns Up. And Guns Up is this amazingly detailed and categorically accurate depiction of the Vietnam War. And in that, he writes about, mercy killings, being fearful and dealing with it different ways, all these different men he met whenever he was deployed with them and how they acted. He's done a great job of articulating the entirety of his book. I say entirety, a good portion of his book in an interview with Sean Ryan that was so impressive that I needed to read the book. But one of the verses that he said has changed his life was Psalm 121. And I want to look this up because Psalm 121 says, I lift my eyes to the mountains. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. And the fact that that verse found him in such a profound way, whenever he shares that with you, you can't help but think it's finding you too. And whenever you're going through such critical self analysis and you're saying to yourself, am I worthy to be a father? Like, am I worthy to have the unyielding love of a child? That's a difficult question. That's one that you have to wrestle with. But I also think that that can very easily turn into guilt. And I don't think guilt is of God. That's a difficult thing to profess. It's a difficult thing to grasp, but you can't have that guilt eat at you. And what I've recognized, at least in part, is that I feel like I'm guilty for not being the man that I could be. And it really takes me out of the momentum of trying to be the man that I could be. Is that making sense? I want to be better, so I should strive to be better. It's not that I want to be better. And since I'm not there yet, let me continuously chastise myself and mope about the fact that I'm not where I want to be. Having a difficult time doing that in practice, but I am trying to do it on my own. And Jesus came down on the cross in my faith because it's impossible to do on your own. You'll never be worthy, right? Except through him. I think there's a contradiction in that statement because you were always worthy. It's just not from your own accord. I'm wrestling with the flesh. And that's what I'm realizing. Anywho, this felt good to just trauma dump on y'all for a little bit. I'm going to let this one go. I don't know what to name this episode, but I appreciate you. I hope you have a good rest of your day. I love you. God loves you. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.